Hi everyone, welcome to Melissa's Home Cooking. Well, today we have a very special guest, Mom Ngari here. She's going to show us a very traditional Christmas pudding that we have as a family for a number of years. My children really love them while growing up. They always look for the coins. This is going to be a Christmas pudding with coins. Hey Mom,
Yes.
you want to explain a little bit about this Christmas pudding?
It's a tradition in our family, started many years ago, and it's been carried on, and the children always enjoy looking for the coins. And yeah, that's about all I can say about that.
Okay, you're going to explain to us the ingredients?
Alright, now the first ingredients we have, got them all here. We have 1 cup of raisins, 1 1/4 cups of sultanas, 3/4 cup of currants, 1/2 cup of peel, mixed peel, 1/2 cup of grated carrot, and 1/2 of an orange juice. Then we have 2 1/4 cups of breadcrumbs and melted butter, and 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of flour, and 2 beaten eggs. Then we have the spices. We have cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Then milk, approximately 90 mils of milk, and then we have 1/2 cup of brandy, and then we have the coins. You always have to wrap the coins. It's something to do with the metal in the coins. Years ago we never had to wrap them, but now we have to wrap the coin. So I'll just show you wrapping it here. And just a small piece of tin foil and just turn it over and over until it's nicely wrapped there. And then when the pudding is in the bowl, then you space the coins out evenly. Make sure everyone gets some. Now this is the pudding bowl to use. I usually use a rack at the bottom. You put it in a saucepan with water. The water usually only up to about that level on the bowl. If you have too much water, it can bubble up and go into the pudding itself. And then you put a bit of paper. I'll show you when we put it all together. The paper goes in between the pudding and the lid in case the pudding rises enough and sticks on the lid. And that's about all, I think, before we start.
That's awesome, Mom. So what kind of coin do you use? Do you use 20 cents, 50 cents, or $1 or $2?
Mostly 20-cent pieces, but you can put more in if you want to.
Great, so let's get started.
Right, the first thing we do is put all these ingredients in together. The sultanas, the raisins rather, and the sultanas, and the currants. And the peel, and the grated carrot, the orange juice, and the melted butter, then we've got the breadcrumbs, 2 1/4 cups of breadcrumbs, 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 2 beaten eggs, and then we have the spices: nutmeg, cinnamon, and the allspice. And the milk. Sometimes you may need a little bit more milk. Then we stir it all together. Mix it well. Put the brandy in. When you need to make sure that all these ingredients are moistened. Right, now I have already greased the pudding bowl. Right, the mixture is well mixed and I haven't needed to put any extra milk in, so that's good. And we just put it all in the bowl.
We have to grease the bowl, right, Mom?
Yes, the bowl was greased at the beginning. It almost looks as though it might be too much for the bowl, but that's all right. Push it down firmly. So when you're putting it into the saucepan, it's good to use a rack if you have one, so the bowl is not actually sitting right on the pan itself. Push it into the bowl firmly. Okay, clear it away from the centre because you're going to screw the lid back on. Okay, now we'll get the coins and put them in. So I usually space them out, and sometimes I leave them just a tiny bit showing so that it's easy to find later on. I put the opposite usually to start off with. Just poke them in and then start spacing them out, maybe every quarter to start off with, and then just put them in. You just push them down so that they're not quite so obvious, and when it's cooking, it'll rise up over the coins mostly, just a tiny little bit showing. Makes it easier to cut. Right, now we'll put the lid on. First we put this paper on, just in case. This is the baking paper, in case it rises. It doesn't usually rise too much, too high. Put that, right, hang on, I've got to put the lid on first. And screw this on tightly. Right, now we need to get it into the saucepan. Now we have the saucepan ready, and it's just a little bit of water in the bottom. Put it on the element and turn it on. This one here. Bring it. Always start it off with high, and then once it starts to boil, you turn it down. Now I put this rack in just to keep the top from the bottom, from sticking on the bottom or burning if the water gets a bit low. And you just have to make sure the water is not too high up on that bowl. And to put the lid on, so we have to wait until it's boiling and then turn it down. Low is good enough. It doesn't have to be too high, depending on your stove, I suppose. And then you just leave it, and it usually takes an hour and a half to 2 hours. And yeah, so then you'll need to test it and decide whether it's ready or not. And that's it, I think.
And how do you test that it's ready cooked? Do you use a skewer
Well,
because it's not sticky?
I've never actually had to test it. I just cook it, and you put a knife in or a skewer. But there's no baking powder in this recipe, so you don't have to worry too much about whether it's cooked or not cooked. Right, now it's boiling now, so I'll just turn the heat down to low, and it'll just cook steadily on that low heat. But But don't forget to check the water level regularly because it's inclined to disappear quite quickly. Now I'm just going to put some more water in. At the moment the water level has gone to the top of the rack, so there's still room to put more in. And it's bubbling away there. Put the lid back on.
So has it been about 45 minutes, Mom?
It has, yes.
So we're going to carry on cooking for
Yes.
another half an hour?
Yes, quite another half an hour. Right, now it's been an hour and a half and we're just going to check it all. So we'll take the lid off and unscrew I'll turn the stove off anyway. One way, I think. Take the lid off, just fall into the pot, and take the paper off. It looks to me as though I didn't push the money down far enough, but the thing is when you tip it out of the bowl it'll be upside down, so the money will not be shown, will not be seen. So I'll just test this. Apart from a sultana that's come up with it, looks pretty good to me. So there you are, it's the pudding cooked.
Great. Looks yummy, Mom. So
Thank
now
you.
we can serve.
Well, here we are. We've cooked the pudding for 1.5 hours and now I've taken the lid off and I'm just going to run the knife around the edges to make sure it doesn't stick. You can actually use a stainless steel bowl without the middle piece in it. As you see, we've got the middle piece here. So when you tip it out, it can sometimes damage the inside of the cake there. But so we'll just tip that out now. Well, we'll try to tip it out. I'll go down the centre as well, just to make sure that it's all free. Give it a shake, let it come out. I can't do this with the gloves on. Oh, careful, huh?
Oh, good.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Wow. Looking hot.
It smells good. It really smells
Looking
good.
really nice.
Mm.
You can see the coin in there.
Yes.
In the hole.
Yes, you can see one coin there.
Yeah.
And it's nice and come out nice and clear in there as well. So that's very good. Thank you.
That's great. So, Mom, how do you eat them? How do you serve them? Can you eat them hot or cold or?
Yes, you can eat them hot or cold, and it's good to have either ice cream or cream or custard.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually kept it for any length of time. With the brandy, it should last quite well. Normally I make mine a bit closer to Christmas, but anyway, it's going to be good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. That's wonderful. Here you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's baking. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I look forward to see you again next time. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas.